First item on the agenda, we need a motion to approve the minutes of the call meeting of May 15th, 2023, and the regular meeting of May 16th, 2023. We have a second. Second. All in favor, please raise your hand. Say aye.
Thank you, sir.
And their appearances, Brian Holmes is running a little late. He'll be here. Mike McKenzie.
I don't have anything there.
Okay, all right. Mr. Roy Smith, there you are on the back road. And today is D-Day.
It's getting a little sophisticated today. Little 3x5. I want to start off. I have a couple of questions. First question is medical care in Brookhaven all right? Is police protection in Brookhaven all right? If that's the case, then we need to build this overpass or underpass over the railroad track. Because under the color of law in the U.S. Constitution, this government or this city is willfully depriving the community on this side of the track from its rights and privileges for protection under the Constitution. In the event of a medical emergency or any catastrophic event occurring on this side of the railroad track and a freight train is coming through, this government and this city would have denied the citizens of this community the privileges that it due under the Constitution. Each time that I come up here and I stand at this podium and I make these statements, you know, that's a straw in the camel's back. I'm hoping that today isn't the straw that broke the camel's back. Now, I know that if that's the case, I can assure you there was going to be several, thousands of lawsuits coming out the yang. But hopefully that won't be the case. Please consider building this overpass, underpass over this railroad track to this side of town can have access to emergency health care and police protection. Secondly, thing that I wanted to speak about tonight was the appointment of the police chief issue. Now I've done, my legal research on this matter, and there's nothing to the contrary that I've found anywhere that said once a vote has been made, that it cannot be rescinded, remanded, or reconsidered. Now, Don, you and I, we've been friends for a long time. And I know that, you're a man of moral and ethical character, principle. But when you want to make this right, it's right. Not for me and not for you, but for the people of Brookhaven. If you have something in black and white, of course, I'm not from Missouri, I'm from Mississippi, but I want you to show me. In fact, the Attorney General and the Secretary of State, they would also like to see if you have something in black and white. Can you think of the negative implications and ramifications by doing this for future residents? That's why future residents and future businesses will probably refuse to come to Brookhaven because of the way we do business. Now is the time that, we should be doing everything to do obituary-worthy work. This is a defining moment for every one of y'all. every politician and every man. In other words, don't be worried in your way of doing. So, cause sometimes, people mess up. They mess up and do things that they think are good, looking for something better. But oftentimes, they wind up with something worse. So, I'm asking y'all to reconsider this vote. Now, I understand that in a meeting I had with the mayor last week before last, that Shannon, Mr. Moore was supposed to be finding out what the statute, the status of that particular request was.
So, according to Bobby, we can amend that ordinance. It's an ordinance in effect, right?
Your ordinance is in effect. Anytime an ordinance is in effect, the board can amend it. However, there's an issue that's been raised, and previously, whether you can, even if you did amend the ordinance, whether it will be valid under the terms of the statute. And that, at least in my opinion, is going to require an attorney general's opinion to at least look at it first.
So we put the vote on the floor to amend it from appointed to back to elected. We do it tonight,
You-
attorney.
You can do that anytime you have an ordinance. You can amend any ordinance you've got on the books. However, the question there is whether it can actually happen or not. Whether you would be effective in doing that. And I would certainly suggest we at least get direction to see if that can be effective.
So what can I do tonight? Can I make a motion to amend it from being
You can make it,
appointed to back to being elected? I like to make that motion.
I suggest if you did that, you did it subject to.
Subject to attorney general opinion, right?
I second that motion.
Is that a 2/3 majority vote in that, or is it?
No, under the rules, Shannon made this motion, I don't know, it was the meeting after the first meeting, and that did require 2/3. But after an ordinance is in effect, then anybody can amend any ordinance to do anything, as long as you have your majority vote. But again, the question's been raised previously, whether you can actually do this and make it effective, because the board has taken an action to do it. Whether you can undo it is a question that needs to be asked outside this board.
Because the only thing the city board can do is what the state allows cities to do. You can't go pass an ordinance just because you want to pass it if the city doesn't allow it. And the statute says that, and it's the same thing for city clerk. Because the statute says that the city can change from elected to appointed. It does not say the reverse.
And that is the question.
Subject to the AG opinion.
Right.
Well,
That's the motion I'm gonna make.
And I second the motion.
We've got a motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Any opposed? Abstention? I've got 4-2. I'm missing one. Opposed, 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Well, then, and now I'll make a request that we make an official request, because you gotta do that too, of the Attorney General's office to determine, since that was done in an open meeting, can you turn around and change that now since the statute does not allow?
So we're saying request for AG
Yeah.
opinion.
That's what, that was part of that motion.
Well, you're really supposed to get an Attorney General's opinion before you.
Right, let's do it.
We saw.
You're gonna move.
well, I did.
Well, that's what we, how about, he's supposed to.
But let's go ahead and have a motion then to specifically request an attorney general's opinion. So, Don, are you making that motion? Do we have a second? in favor, please raise your hand. Okay. All right, very good.
Is Mike out there? Hold up, Roy. Is Mike, city engineer is out.
Yes.
Mike, could you, enlighten Roy on the overpass and the underpass that we talked about as far as the grant, what you got to have? Would you enlighten him?
We do that now or out here?
We can do it now, but, you know, just.
I don't know if you're prepared to do that. I mean,
Yeah.
it might be kind of cold, but it's up to you.
I'm available anytime.
I'm mildly cold. We talk out here in the office.
Well, I got the information for you, Roy, so I'll wait to come back. So Mike got all the information about the overpass, underpass, and what criteria is for to have an overpass.
Okay. All right, thank you.
All right. Chris Zephas. You have a report?
Nothing other than, we met earlier today, got this issue straightened out up here and just rocking and rolling. I know Keith's out this week, so if y'all have anything in the way of that department as well, feel free to please give me a call so I can get it taken care of.
Chris.
Whenever they get finished doing that dig in the front of the courthouse, so they're gonna
Put it back. Yes, sir.
put it smooth as that.
Yes, sir. Get Mr. Larry with the asphalt.
We have the same problem up here by the First Baptist Church.
Yeah, that one we just did last week. That manhole, yes, sir. We're letting that gravel pack and settle before we put asphalt, and the asphalt don't settle down.
Cherokee. Y'all claim the ditches on Cherokee,
Okay.
but you forgot. It's one.
Which one is that?
Washington. All right, yeah, I'll give you his address for you.
Yes, sir.
There's a ditch when you first turn off from Grand Street. It's gonna be the first house to you, second house to your left.
Gotcha.
It's that ditch behind me. And you clean all the ditches with that.
Gotcha.
We called today, and talked about it.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Gary Combs. Hey there.
Good evening. Just a little bit of update of things happening this summer. Our last summer concert meeting Friday night, I think that was a success, a good time. We appreciate the support we get from the city and police departments and everything to make that happen. Our next one is July 7th in the park, also at 7 p.m. Next week is Girls Night Out. The office is swamped and very busy. It will be through from now till next Thursday. I think this is 12 or 13 years in, and we're just as popular as ever. And so we're looking for we got over 30 participants that are local retailers and restaurants next Thursday. Looking for them to have a good week next week. A couple of other dates I want to make you aware of. MEC's Leadership Mississippi class will be in Brookhaven July 20th and 21st. It's kind of a big deal for Brookhaven. They're coming back down here. They select a few cities over the state every year with their leadership class that they run. So they'll be here for a couple of days. They'll be meeting 40 or 50 people that will come down with MEC. And so if you see a big group of people you'll recognize touring downtown, the industrial park or something, that's likely who they are. And so Katie and Jill and I are helping coordinate meeting spaces and where they're going and that kind of thing. So we're excited to welcome them back to town. And then on July the 18th, and I will make sure I remind everybody about this too, AITX will do a ribbon cutting to celebrate the completion of their $30 million expansion. It'll be on the 18th. A lot of that facilities will be open to tour and look around. And public will be invited. We'll send that out through our email database, but certainly want anybody up here that can, with the city that can participate, to please do July 18th. And we're looking forward to that completion of that project.
What time is that?
I don't have a set time yet. But I will have a flyer, graphic, and all of that. I'm juggling 4 or 5 people on the agenda to speak, so I'm trying to just nail some of that down. But we do have a date, but not specific time. I'm hoping mid-morning, so it's not so hot because of that time of the year, but that is coming up on that date.
That's just as you come down.
Yes, sir.
Over there.
On the left.
On the left.
Mhm.
Anything else? Any other questions for Garrett?
Next one, are we still looking into grocery stuff?
As far as I know, there are still 3 chains that are engaged with our retail folks. The retail folks are in Las Vegas at a ICSC conference right now promoting Brookhaven this week. I don't know when they finished that up. But I do know they're still in talks with 3 national chains. There's a lot of retail activity out there right now. A lot more stuff going on now than I have seen from a retail standpoint than I've seen in a while. I don't know if it's just because we're more aware because our consultants feed us that information or if it's actual move the needle activity. So, but yes, sir, we're still actively working.
So we still got the retail coach, I thought we were.
Well, this is retail strategies out of Birmingham. It's changed. We did not renew with retail coach several years ago. All disappointed with them. This group out of Birmingham seems to be, at least, at the very least, are way better communicators.
I just want to say, I thought we got rid of the retail coach.
We were, like I said, trying to do all we could, so we switched horses to another company to figure out if we get better results from that.
All right, appreciate you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
sir. Chief Ainsworth?
We're about to finish up the flush and close, probably this week should wind us up on it. I do have a truck, big platform ladder truck coming June 13th, so we need y'all that can be there for the demonstration on it. I appreciate it.
When is that?
June the 13th, and I will get back with you on what time in the morning. It's coming from West Memphis. I went to the conference over, ran over Natchez the other day. They had a conference going on, and I got them lined up to bring it down here to show it to you. It'll be a central station, out back. What is it? All right, that's all I got.
All right, thanks,
Sir,
sir.
on June 17th, like to have your fire guys.
Pray
come
again.
a lot and pray, and when we have a fireworks show, like to have them in this case, go outside.
No problem.
Mr. Mayor. Chief Ainsworth man come out a few weeks ago and guys got stuck on the scissor lift out there. They got stuck in there at night and I watched them. They did an excellent job. I mean,
Appreciate it.
yeah,
We've used our aerial 5 or 6 times this year on 3 different rescues like that.
yeah, we had to talk one of them staying up there because you're talking about coming down. You stay to the fire.
Anything else for Chief? Chief Collins, you have a report or for?
I want to introduce, I'm not going to do him injustice by trying to pronounce his name. His nickname is Steve, but I'll let him get up and introduce himself. He's president in Columbia Academy, part-time academy.
Yeah.
And
I'm not sure, Ascalatu, Prentice, Mississippi, originally. I just moved back, me and my wife, October. My wife is currently a sergeant in the Army Station, Camp Shelby. I've been in management in the Chicago area the last 20 years. I'm currently in management in Jackson at UPS. In part-time academy, like you said. I'm gonna be a part-time officer under the chief.
David Fern?
I have something for the chief.
Okay, go ahead.
One thing, Mr. Klein. I had a fender bender, and I want to thank Granberry and Officer Hucks, H.U.
Benjamin Hucks, yes.
Benjamin Hucks, who came and wrote up that report. I got it ready for me, did the necessary things to get me the report. Those were some kind means to me.
Thank you.
So thank them.
Thank you.
Also, Miss Banks too, she helped in that effort.
Mr. Fern?
The houses that were on the takedown list are all taken down except for 2. 920 Bryant Street, still looking to move those cars. Still need help moving those cars away from the house. Vertus Quarles is the name.
Right, I've spoken to her.
And she decided to get an attorney talking to me about it, but hadn't gone very far with that. The attorney didn't appear to have any problems with how we did it. The other one is the house on Marsh Alley. The guy wanted me to hold off taking it down right off Independence because he wanted to do it himself. He came in a couple days ago and said he couldn't afford to take it down like that. And we were still gonna take it down, and we will charge him and he will make payments on it. So that's just the status. Everything else on that list is done.
We don't want to do it, just knock out the house upside, Mama Lou's, we just take that one, it's not that one.
But he wants it done, so now.
Put-
Yes. The house, speaking of that, I told the guys who were taking down our houses for us to get an estimate, foundations of how much it would be. And as I understand it, the school board is going to buy the property as soon as their next fiscal year starts, which is July. So, they're gonna take care of cleaning it up, I guess.
He said that last.
I know.
They said it was taxes the last time.
I know, they're putting it off for whatever reasons, but
They still interested for parking, I mean, that's what
the last time that the mayor talked to him, that's where it was.
they get the rest of them signed.
I don't know, they need to.
Anything else, David?
One thing, Mr. David, that house on Minerva Street,
Yep, it's on the list to be taken down.
but it has already fallen down
Yeah.
about 5 to 6 feet from the streets.
Yeah. I watch it every day. I go by there. Now, I talked to Keith, but we could maybe get the street department over there and clean it up. That's where we would stand.
We need to, because the house itself, it didn't fall back on the lot. It fell
Fell
toward
forward,
the
yeah.
streets.
I'll talk to him when he comes back next week.
Thank you so much.
Say 116 Short Street, on that also. Okay,
All right, for
clean up.
cleaning up,
Truck on grass.
you got it.
Is Comstock clean, you know, Comstock?
I don't know if they've mowed it in the last couple of weeks. I'll find out. Mr. Casson, you had something else?
I can do it outside.
Okay.
That house on West Congress, have you heard anything from them? You know, we gave them, what, 120 days?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything from them. Now, some of the ones that, we had the grass that we needed to be cut. I sent those letters and they cut them since that time, so. The ones on, there's 2 or 3 that I drove by today on Rogers Circle. One of them belongs to the state of Mississippi. I'll just tell Keith next week, we can go do that one. I mean, they're not gonna sell it in it. Got open door and grown up to the top of the house, so. We'll get that one next week, hopefully.
Thanks, David. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, under other business, we need a motion to receive and award the off-road diesel bid to RB Wall at 2.68. Motion and second, all in favor, please raise your hand. Okay. Items 2 through 8, I think we can take as a group. There is one addition to number 5. And it's just another statement here. It needs to also include and to approve summary change order number 1 for $1,000. That was omitted. And then on number 6, please delete radar detectors. It should just be radar. Delete detectors. Do we have a motion?
I have a question on number 3 down there. Help me with that. I didn't know, I saw my name.
You didn't know you were so important.
Well, looking at something.
Absolutely. All right, do we have a motion?
Motion.
All in favor, please raise your hand.
We don't have that higher number added. But, we have some more vegetable debris that needs to be, burned. So we need to approve payment in the amount of $44,709 to Renewable Wood Solutions for the processing and incineration of the city's on-site wood and yard waste totaling 6,387 cubic yards. That's just the burn box. They just take our vegetable debris and burn it. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, what are they burning that's gonna cost that money?
All the, it's huge piles of vegetables, like leaves and trees and,
Right.
yeah. Last time it was 80, this is
It was.
the same.
Have we looked at, I mean, is he got a patent? I mean, can we go build our own burn box?
We had to go through DEQ to get approval, and I'm sure. the cost
This is significantly less than we've been. Yeah, oh yeah, but I see what you're going to do. Good. All right, do we have a motion? Motion. All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay.
Well, hopefully you do this for me.
Let's see, Alderman reports, Alderman Underwood, you have a report?
Just a couple of things. Chris Keys, he's here. I'm sure you probably won't talk about that in executive session. Union Street, got some calls about Union Street is not striped. And it's the only main entrance into town, and what they said, I haven't been around every entrance, that it's not striped, and at night, it's kind of dangerous, but my big question, I've talked to Keith about this, is we still have issues with Union Street, with the underlayment, the compaction, and we need to come to a resolution on Union Street. Maybe, we may just need to fill the whole concrete before we pave it, because we constantly chase this.
We've got several issues on Union Street, Industrial, and, well, yeah, Union Street. And I know Ryan's been discussing that, with Dickerson and Bowen and his other cohorts trying, and yes, that is being discussed, to just dig the whole darn thing out and fill it up with concrete.
Well, and I know that's more expensive than what we've been doing.
But what
But
we're
when
doing
you
is
keep
more.
doing what you've been doing, it gets more expensive than doing the concrete.
Actually, Dickerson and Bowen has dug up the spot in front of their office on their nickel and trying to fix it. And there's some creek or a stream or something through that area that is just unstable dirt. So we're looking at that, trying to figure that out.
You know, we got the same issue, is it Dale Trail that comes up on the ramp going over the railroad, is that
Right.
right?
That's
That
correct.
same issue is there, it's the base, we gotta quit chasing it, is what I guess I'm saying, let's go ahead and ante up and do it really.
And Ryan should be here, he's running late, but he should be.
And the only other thing I had was that Keith had talked to me about paving stuff, wanted to make sure we talked about paving projects. Other than just, especially
He's not here yet, he'll still be sitting.
especially that West Industrial, because the county's already done their part. That's good, that's it.
Yes, I got a couple of things. About the paving, we've been talking about the paving, about the 2 roads, in each ward, 2, 3 roads with a certain amount of money. I want to go in and make a motion to approve that, to transfer 600,000 from the city infrastructure fund account to the general fund, and to allocate 100,000 to each ward, 1 through 6.
Okay, we have a motion, do we have a second? All All in favor, please raise your hand, say aye.
The second thing I have, the Health and Wellness Park in Brickell. We've gotten to a point where we got the surveying, now it's time to start developing, the area up there. And I want to make a motion to approve to proceed with the clearing of the city property located at, corner of Brittany Road and Carter, PN number 4053, for the development of a health and wellness park and revive the general fund to include this project.
We've got a motion, do we have a second? Did you make the second? Okay. Yeah, all right, go ahead. I have not seen all of the plans on it, so I'm not exactly sure what the plans are, but this is to start with the clearing.
Right, it's clearing. But it shouldn't cost as much as anything else.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your hand or say aye. Anything else?
That's it.
What's that contract? How many more years now?
It's been for 1 year. We get ones out in September, and you have 1 year extension, up to you to do that.
Hold on, look at that. I mean, I got one phone call about that in the last 2 months. I mean, messing garbage on the street, 2 or 3 a week. I was getting better, it's getting worse. Leaving the back of the garbage truck off and going down the road, blowing trash down the road. I mean, this go on and on every week. With that. I did like it. I sent out RFP, be close to see what's out there. It's technical. Just a little bit.
Some of the merchants that's downtown, that do not live in the city would like a voice as to what's going on. Even around their business, they want a voice, the merchants downtown. But what I want to ask is that if Chief Collins can help me with that. I know we voted that he would get the, $25,000 from the drug fund. It was 20. I would want a motion to let him have the rest of that money so that he can put some cameras downtown where those merchants have to go in and out. And that if something is going on in that area, that we can see it and not chase it.
Well, that's what the 20 was for, to allow them to purchase.
Okay. But then there was some, 45, and we just let him have 20.
You want to do it all?
Right.
Let me talk about that just a little bit.
Okay.
And this may be something that you and I need to talk about, but I think as we get the FUSA system up, I think we'll be surprised at how many of the downtown business owners already have cameras. And then we will be looking to gain access to their cameras through the software. I'm not the expert on that, obviously, but that's kind of the gist of that. So we may want to see where we are with that, with the folks that already have cameras privately installed, and then go from there.
Okay. Can I ask the chief a question?
Sure.
Are you looking at some other places?
We're
Assistant chief?
trying to get, he's on the rate on the LPR readers. He's the expert for us on that. But we're trying to get the Rogers Circle area started as a model because you got schools and churches and you got City Park 2 blocks over. That's a well-traveled area. We're trying to get that area set up first as a model for the rest of the areas in this. And then we want to try to expand out. You take the LPR.
Currently, I've been working with Sam. We got our MOHS grant for $60,000 in infrastructure for ALPR on 51 Highway that y'all know about. According to the contractor, if things go right with order and shipping and everything, he'll have that project complete by the end of August. I have been contacted by Fuchsia's, and Fuchsia's just wants us to get an idea of what cameras we want to lead off with the streams that we have available for the system to be piped into the consolidated network.
I think that'll be a great thing to do to help us with this situation that we did.
Yeah, I want to make sure.
Yeah, I think that'll be awesome.
And going into neighborhoods, the main thoroughflow as they go in, we need a camera there in case if something happens. And, you know, people are doing stuff now. And so we need to.
So we just gonna focus on downtown, Rogers Street, you gonna try to get some other corridors that lead out, like going out east from Cloverdale, I mean, they can hit that going that way. Can look at put cameras going that way. Just, you know, all,
In the schools.
right.
Rod has agreed to, Mr. Henderson has agreed to set the school up whatever we need with the gunshots, the detectors and all of that. And he's putting up extra cameras on Mamie Boyd to catch the areas that our cameras that we installed won't pick up. He's gonna do that this summer. So we've got a camera up in the curb in Britain already, where they dumping the garbage and stuff. I took my bucket truck and Horton in with Clint and installed it, well, 2 weeks ago. So we got a camera up in the dead man's curb already, functional already.
So we catch someone dumping, so do we call the police? I mean, what's?
Yes,
You got
that'll
to
be
catch,
fine.
you
You
got
will
to
call
catch
the
them in the
police.
act, how?
You will, there's a fine already that's established. You will call the police department, and then we can get and go through the trash and see if we can find any information in the trash bin. But it's already fine set up for illegal dumping. And now if you can catch them in the act now, that's what's good about it.
One other thing, but this is Shannon's, you'd asked about the work program during the summer.
Yeah, some. Keep us, keep us. And now we start the process.
We've got 2 hours.
There was a young man who came in, month or so ago, and he wanted us to finance some young boys to do something. He said 2,500 to the whole program. Are we looking at? I want to shift, if we doing anything, I want to shift it over to Shannon, and maybe we could get some more young boys working during the summer instead of going with Hope.
We cannot make a donation to the Hope Academy. The city
Okay.
cannot.
Okay.
When you open that door, I mean, I got a lot of people in line.
We cannot do that.
Okay. I
That was
didn't
never
know
on
why
the
he
table
was here.
before. That was for our support.
Okay.
And several of us on the board
Okay.
supported them individually last year.
I didn't know if we put money in there or not, because he said something about 2,500 to 6,500. I'm wondering,
That's right.
gotcha.
That's right.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Gray.
Charles, thank you. Chief, you said you were gonna start, if you purchase the cameras, or we?
So we're looking at trying to purchase him. We talked to one vendor. He's having problems getting them. So we will have a meeting, probably tomorrow to try to look. We want them to be compatible with the future system, whatever we get. And Roger Serp is just a model.
Right, I was just confused when, because I thought we had given you the money and then we said we were trying.
We're trying to use our local vendors for the hardware, so, we got some people checking on a few things, different vendors for different areas.
With, all of our officers, do they have, Narcan on them? Do we have? What is Narcan? But what do we,
That's when they have an overdose.
overdose?
You squirt one shot in each nostril, and it will revive them. It's worked. It saves some lives when they OD.
But it's also good, they need it, we don't need it, we need each one of them to have something in case they get affected.
John Douglas has been great. We got him scheduled another class to update us with it. But we all have Narcan in our vehicles. You know.
That's all. What else is good for? Stay away.
Well, it works. I've seen it work on people.
It makes somebody that's using opioids very upset when you squirt it up their nose. It may save their life, but it reduces the opioid effect to attach to the receptors in the brain, so it messes them up.
It doesn't affect fentanyl too? Does it affect fentanyl?
I'm unaware if it does fentanyl, but I would
I think
think
it's just okay.
We've seen it work.
Mr. Bryce, you have a report?
Well, I had something with Mr. Holmes,
He'll be here shortly.
I've got a big problem over on, we've been working on people, Brookhaven, this office, the lady lives over there, we just need a ditch work to be, trying to get some.
And going right over there by where the, group home is.
You want one on the other side of the road where there's no,
On those side of the,
space and kind of going towards Dogwood? Okay.
and another one down there by the group home.
I talked to Ms. Donald on and she was talking about her light in and out and what have you. We probably need to fill in some of the gaps with some more lights, probably 2 more anyway.
Hold on, quiet.
On Friday. And then the speed humps, I've talked to Larry and they're gonna come in and tighten them up because you can go right between them. Right between them.
Yeah, I had told Keith about that last week.
Anything else?
There was cutting grass and stuff like that, out there on the new site. But I kinda want to get those trees cut back, off the road. And then go through there and swipe that ditch out on the new side. Cause it's not been swiped out. We get it swiped out. And that was it.
Hey, Chris.
Yes, sir.
I've spoken with Keith, the ditch that runs, right there, what was on, we're doing the work on it. I don't know what ditch it be, runs across the boulevard through Chickasaw and through down in Comstock and all that.
But he's doing that, what little bit he's doing now, he did that on his own.
Jay's doing that.
Yeah, what we do is on down the ditch where they join in.
What, I mean, we've got a homeowner on the other side of the ditch between Boulevard and there would be Chickasaw.
Right.
He's got a tree that failed. We cut the tree and the stump is still there. He's doing a lot of cleanup in there and he was wondering, I'll send you a picture of it. It's right there, on by the road. I don't know how we get the stump out of there because the stump is laying in the ditch.
Look at it and see if we cut it.
So he's not get piece by piece. It may take us getting to the neighbors across the ditch, but then we'll get into tearing the ditch up and
You're ready to start over.
Yeah, I ride over there in the morning to look at it.
I'll see.
Right over there on Locksburg. on that lot that's on, you come in through Ingram Street, but, it adjoins with that, the people's, property on the back of Locksburg. We need to go in there and, either send something out to where we can get that cut off the backside of that, lot, with those people's houses back there, their backyard back there.
I did.
And Miss Maxine Moore, she wanted to see about getting that retention pond put up over there at the house on their property.
Yeah, that was new. I had not heard that one till the other day when her husband came in, where they cleared it and they're gonna develop that. So anyway, yeah, well, that starts the clock all over. I didn't know that they were considering that, but yeah, we're looking at that.
And also seeing in about getting that pipe there. Been 2 years out with it, we need to go ahead and make sure.
Mr. Attorney?
That was made, I just wanted to keep one here. Maybe you can help me out on this Sanford's fence. You know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
I got it,
Right.
and that was probably, it's been good like that. I apologize to her, but I think we kind of let that be.
Right.
Can you kind of maybe get that?
Absolutely.
Get there.
It's then backflow preventer on McNair.
Gotcha.
Mr. Attorney?
Sure. Couple things, Mr. McNair's with office for attention. And so there's a copy that, maybe all know who has on his desk about a statement on open city courts. City of Brookhaven shall maintain a city court system that's open to the public pursuant to Mississippi Constitution, Article 3, Section 26, Rule 77, procedure, and any other Mississippi Supreme Federal Court decision, statute, or constitutional article under the state on this. This is just a statement and be forwarded to our city courts. I have not been able to speak to the judge yet. I just drafted.
So what's going on?
The courts are closed. They're not allowing public. Doesn't really matter. You have to have narrow, tailored reasons for closing the court to anybody.
It's supposed to be open to
It's open to the public unless it's narrowly tailored. If there's some sort of issue where a person cannot get a fair trial, then you can close it. If there's some sort of imminent threat or harm, it has to be closed. It's got to be very narrowly tailored to a specific case.
Do you need that from us?
Yeah, I need you to agree that that's going to be your statement.
Motion and second, all in favor, please raise your hand. Any opposed?
Mayor, also, we had spoken about this, and I don't know if we have the real number yet, but there's an application for grants, and when we found out about it, the deadline is very, very tight. It closes up next week, but in speaking with Waverly Hawkins, who's up with Watkins, Eater, and Charlie Depp, this is for those electric vehicle charging stations that I brought to Brookhaven qualifies for two, one for $1 million and one for $500,000. The way that the statutes are written is that for one of them is called a community grant. And under the community grant, you can get up to $500,000. It's got a max, well, $500,000 is the minimum reward. You can get up to 15 million, but it is located in a place that's publicly accessible. If you don't own it, let's just say somebody has a parking lot, you can enter into agreement with them under the federal statute and let them run it and that sort of thing. Matter of fact, you can even get to the point that they would pay that they could pay a cost share. These cost shares are about 20%. However, there are 3 areas in Brookhaven that qualify. The 3 exits all qualify, but 40 is the most desirable, and a portion of 40 is in a low-income area to the north, which may mean you don't have to pay a 20% share, but that may actually be reduced. And you can work with private entities. Let's just say a big service station wanted it in their service station, you can work with them to get your 20% paid that way. But the mayor has been looking with Entergy, because they probably have done some of these before, especially in Manila, and trying to get a number, because that's about the only thing we need left for the application. You only have to apply for one, because if you apply for one, the payment is eligible for both. So the question is, do you just want her to continue to try to make application? You'll still have the opportunity to deny it, even if you get the money. You need to take a vote, just.
Yeah, I would like to continue to pursue that. We'll see what comes out of it.
40B, Entergy, or is
You've got, you have exit 40, that's
Engineering.
that's Brookhaven Boulevard. Of course, the Natch is US 40, 84. That's another one that applies. And of course, North Brookhaven, 42. But 40, of course, is the most desirable. And I've also talked to the county, because Fletch, as we know, that's where the confluence, the confluence ends and begins right there at the Brother Chitta exit. So Parking Place right there is at the Brother Chitta exit for the county. So I believe they're looking at it also. But if you'd like me to continue with that, I'll still continue with it.
Yes. I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Did you ever hear from Atlanta on that?
No, we haven't heard from those, and also, Alderman, there's only $19 million in that particular grant program for cities that have water issues, lead, water, and that sort of thing for the most part. It's not, you can send out an application for those yet. But they can be slow.
I did need to open up some more grants, some more loans.
Not that I've heard of, no.
I think that's it, unless y'all have something else.
All right, under employee-related payroll changes, hirings, and resignations, I'd like to take those as a group, 1 through 6, unless somebody needs to pull one out.
And I actually have one more that we need to add that was thrown in afterwards, Mr. Larry asked this on there. To approve and hire Robert Walker as a laborer in the street department at $10.55 per hour, pending drug test and physical.
Motion.
Second. All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay. 10:55. All right, at this point, we need a motion to go into executive session. All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay.
Hey, one other thing very important, to leave the room, this is just a notice, because you've been in communication with folks who have the old.
You can come up tomorrow.
So they evidently showed up this weekend and it's not
You come up and get the rest down.
their attention has been gotten, and they understand their issues out there. And they're not. And knows.
Because, yeah, Chris is coming.